Oh my God, electrification ruined Formula One this year? Wow, if I got paid every time I had to hear this whining coming from a place of extreme ignorance, I'd be rich enough to pay 2,100,000 Rs. In this one, the brand new Porsche 911 Turbo S from the 992 2.2 generation, which we are, yes, going to push to the limit on the track in a moment here at Velocità. Simply the most powerful 911 of all time, with nothing less than 711 horsepower and 800,000 Nm of torque. Do you know how it achieves these numbers? Thanks to electrification, it has 1, 2, 3 electric motors, one in each turbo, right? Bi-turbo, the famous T-hybrid from Porsche, the E-turbos, right? The turbos that use electric motors precisely to eliminate turbo lag and more electric motors. In the transmission, the 8-speed PDK with 82 horsepower. What can this electrification do? It can not only make these power and torque numbers extremely impressive, like a torque table, right? An extremely flat torque curve that basically goes from 2 to 6,000 RPM with maximum delivery. And that's exactly why Formula One chose this path. And that's exactly why the Volkswagen Group, when they were negotiating with Liberty Media about entering Formula One at the time, it's worth remembering with Porsche and Audi. Later, the negotiation between Porsche and Red Bull didn't work out, and in the end, only Audi joined. He said it needs to have electrification. And do you know why this guy doesn't lose top speed at the end of the straight? Because it has a 400-volt architecture here, there's a big battery up front helping to balance the weight. Something they forgot to do in Formula One, right? When it was time to make a 50-50 power split, which isn't the case here. 50, right? But they said no too. The car has to get smaller and lighter, so the battery didn't fit. And then yes, the electric power runs out during the lap. But that's a problem for Stefano Domenicali and Liberty Media. What's important here? The message is very clear. If you're a hater of electrification, which by the way has been in Formula One since 2009, since KERS, and by the way, the hybrid era, right, with the full electric motor bringing about 20 horsepower, started back in 2014, right? We've had 12 years of Formula One, very electrified and very hybridized. Before this attempt to put Porto Alegre inside Bagé, right? To make it 50-50 electric and combustion power without increasing the size of the batteries. This year's regulations turned out as they did. Yes, they're terrible, but they're being addressed. And it has nothing to do with electrification, but rather with trying to combine these two things, 50 electric power, without increasing the batteries. Closing that parenthesis, the hybridization of the Turbo S99 2.2 also brings something else, something spectacular, which is precisely because you have a high voltage architecture. Here, with 400 volts, you can have PCCD, the Porsche Chassis Control Dynamics, which is basically a slightly less aggressive version of the Panamera's Active Ride, right? Which will control the body roll, right? I'm really curious to see us taking corners here with the car flatter. Precisely because this high voltage electricity allows you to have very fast and very powerful actuators in real time in the suspension, keeping the car flat. Since we're going to start with the acronyms, starting with P, from Porsche, take a look at the PCCB here. The Porsche Carbon Ceramic Brake, the largest brake discs ever put on a two-door Porsche. 42 centimeters in the front, 41 centimeters in the rear. Want a reference? A large pizza from Pizza Hut is 38 centimeters in diameter. So here, look, way more than a Pizza Hut pizza. And then, those visual modifications that you guys have already seen in the video, right? Which is and then, modifications in the video, Pizza Hut. And then, those visual modifications in the video modifications, visual modifications, even visual modifications that you've already seen, a hut. And then those visual modifications that you've already seen in the video, right? And then even those visual modifications, it's those Pizza Hut. Visual modifications and then those visual modifications that you saw in the video, that a hut. So, and then those visual modifications that you even saw in the video, right? That it's Pizza Hut. In the video, you've already seen those about a few centimeters in diameter, and in the video, Pizza Hut. 911 versus you want GT3, right? Maybe GT3 Touring if you're getting a little softer. The 911 Turbo, since the original generation and even more so in recent years, aims to be this bigger spider graph within the 911 lineup, right? Brutal acceleration from 0 to 100 in 2.5 seconds, luxurious performance, but all-wheel drive, so it can also be a reliable and comfortable companion for everyday use, both in the city, right? And especially on the Autobahn, right? It's a cruiser. It also aims to deliver a lot of luxury inside the cabin. You can see the full leather package Burmester sound system. And since we're talking about subtle design details, so you can recognize the new generation, take a look here at the rear, right? The square titanium exhaust outlets are one of the ways you can notice it. By the way, another interesting thing, right? In the 992 generation, the 911 Turbo stopped being wider in the rear track in the body than the regular Carrera models, right? It was a very easy way to recognize the 911 Turbo just by seeing the wider rear end. Now, they all have the same size, but even so, the car still gives the impression of being wider because of the rear wing and also, right, because of the cutout here in the bumper, emulating the front air intakes. But let's do this. Time is limited, life is costly, time moves on, and the numbers reveal the show's story. Let me get the helmet here, and we're not only going to speed up with this guy, but also with another surprise already. I'm really curious to see how the first hybrid 911 Turbo and the most powerful one in history accelerates. Let's go. Let's speed up then, but look at this appetizer before the 911 Turbo S, the GT3 Touring with Roof. Drum roll, please. Manual gearbox, guys. Let's go. Danilo Girani, he's our coachee. Handle up front. Look, there was a tall guy here. Dude, really king of the race, man. The seat is really low here. Woohoo, nice. Ooh, there were people who let me die there, right? But no, I saw so many people stalling here that I was expecting a bit more of a challenge from the clutch, but no, the clutch is doing exactly what you expect. Thank you. And if there's Sirita, here we really have the purebred track animal, right? How beautiful, Ron. How much front grip the GT3 has, right? What a beautiful go. What a great delight. Wow, I thought I had braked a little too late, but I didn't, right? Because it has a lot of braking power, especially with the double A-arm suspension in the front. And it's a lighter car too, right? Naturally aspirated, the power delivery is really linear, so here you are. I'll do the following, since the topic here is the turbo. I'll stay quiet for this GT3 lap so you can enjoy the engine sound and action with me. The front grip is impressive. It's not even funny, dude. Go for it, Gremio. Not much I can say. Here you can hold third gear, right? The front end is washing wide, pedal to the metal. Using Buzentola nice and easy. How many times have I raced here at Velocitar? Race car, right? I don't know if I've ever done the kind of lap times we're doing here with the GT3 before. Really, the braking at the very end, like when you hit that last one, you know, to really point it, it's crazy, the car's capability. Let me tell you, oh, you know how it is here, I'm doing my best, you know how it is. Well, I've already driven a Formula car here, right? So, but with a street car, by far, cruising around is way more fun. Because the car really has a lot of front grip, a lot of brakes. You can really attack in a way that a street car just doesn't allow you to. and it's a Porsche, right? We're here. I'm already one of the last ones to drive today. Pushing the car lap after lap, and the brakes are still the same. The front tires wear is still the same. Really? As a street car on track, a Porsche is like nothing else. There must be something tricky going on with the gearbox there. It's a matter of attitude. The forest curve here, it's a crane where you have to give it a little lift. In a street car, that's not something you do every day, right? It really shows the potential of this thing, how powerful it is. Look how cool our friends made way for us, so let's keep going. Thank you. Thank you. The driver needs to cool down too. Look, new tires, look, the oil pan here that the guys changed. So let's experience the most powerful 911 Turbo S of all time once again. Guys, if you want maximum performance on the track, lower the center of gravity. But let me tell you something. Many times when you're a little higher up and have better visibility, you can see everything more clearly, right? You can see the apex better, you can see the curb better, you can see the four corners of the car better, right? The two front corners in this case, right? Sometimes it's worth sacrificing a little bit of your center of gravity. All right then, Sport Plus mode. Yeah, because here we don't have the track mode like we had in the glorious GT3 Touring. And here we go, right? The luxurious finish on the seats looks nice. Steering wheel with the turbonite here. Now what I'm really curious about is whether I'll feel a big difference in terms of power, and especially torque, right? Compared to the GT3, let's go. Theoretically, we're going from the god of the track to the god of the Autobahn, right? Okay. Apparently, we're still warming up our Carrera GTS here, up ahead. That's how it is. It's hard for you to think that you're going to be shocked by the power of the 911 Turbo. There's less front-end grip, that's already a clear limit here. Go for it, man. I was gonna say that coming out of the GTA GT3, it's the car for someone who, what, 500 cylinders? 30 HP, right? Let me know if that's incorrect. Well, it's not about the power, right? Obviously 700 horsepower is a lot. But what really shocks you, I think, is the fact that you have 80 kilogram meters of torque across the whole range, right? Yeah, the car, wow, look at this. You even have to brake early here. It turns into this little bend at the start of the straight here, the back straight of Piloto de Azúcar, yeah? It turns into a curve, right? You can feel the front having to work there to keep it steady. Look, we have, let's see, some important things, right? We have a stressful rear axle here, and I'm really feeling that on the track. And we have the PCCD, right? It almost saved me. We have the PCCD preventing the car from rolling, right? So it's a feeling that's a bit more ours. It's ours. If we get to the straight, use it and let it all out. Bye, Mac. It's a feeling that's a bit less pure, right? Coming from the GT3. With the GT3, you really feel like you're in a car. It's absolutely, I'll exaggerate, analog, right? But it's not just that. It's a pure car, that's the word. right? It does at a very high level what you expect a race car to do. Here, you feel the invisible hand of technology helping you, right? Yeah. Especially the front end here, the fact that the car doesn't roll, and you can feel the torque distribution here to the front axle. Yeah, it makes the car have some reactions that I'm sure are making for quicker lap times, right? But it's...
Mas que o seu...
Boom, boom, your back gets used to that, in my case, by 22 years on the track. You say, wow, the car is acting on its own, right? I'm sure it's helping me, but it's doing it on its own. It's a lot more power, right? You can see the turbo. I couldn't accelerate all the way down the straight even once, because otherwise we would have overtaken the GTS. At the corkscrew, you can feel the rear axle under stress. Let's go. Here in the patience corner too, look, yeah. The feeling, to try to describe it to you, is like you put some steering angle here. All right, you can feel the car getting stressed in proportion to the steering angle you put in. Then after a moment, you feel the car getting even more stressed, right? And then it turns in more without you having to move the steering wheel, right? All right, now I'm going to put a little fairy here. No way, the power difference is just too much. But here, if in the GT3 we reach 200, right? Here we would reach it too. Actually, not just reach it, we would easily go over 200. Yeah, actually, let me put it this way for you guys. It's a mission impossible for here. You could really feel it too. It's a thankless mission for the instructor to push a Turbo S in a test run against a GTS Cabrio, right? It's a little heavier, a bit less rigid because it is. The Turbo S devours it. And of course the GT3 is manual, right? So I had to pay a little more attention to the driving, let's put it that way. But I was, you know, having a bit of trouble. Trouble is for the new Ford. But hey, let me pay attention to what I'm doing here and not focus so much on what I'm saying. Here, the car is so much friendlier. If you want, yeah, I can talk to you here much more easily because that's how it is, right? Besides the manual transmission, the car is doing everything by itself and it's really powerful. So it kind of hides things, you know? You don't need a perfect corner exit to blast down the straight. Yeah, the car is really powerful and makes up for it, right? It puts a lot of power down, right? The traction is Look, I don't know if it's clear in the video, but now you could really feel it. I'll say this, compared to the active ride in the Panamera, right? You kind of feel like, my God, this car is driving itself. Look, now I gave it a little more space. I'm going to push it a little just to hit 200 there. Look. Wow, 215, 220, it's going up, right? It's at these higher speeds that you start to notice how much more the 911 Turbo S has compared to the GT3, right? Let's go. What a machine. What a machine. So, this technology and this sense of detachment, do you feel that on the track? Compared to the GT3, you can be sure of it. It will turn into comfort and convenience and less fatigue when you have to take this and drive 2 hours back to São Paulo. Here, for example, coming out of turn 5, I was a little hesitant to step on it. I mean, I stepped on it and the PASMI system kicked in right there, you know. The GT3 couldn't put all the power down. Here, the turbo manages it without much trouble. There's also a lot of grip up front, but that's it. It's the rear axle that's stressful. So far. Let's start our cool down process and therefore move on to our final conclusions. Let's go. Final conclusions. This window frame in Turbo Night looks nice here too. It's simply the dream daily, right? I always say that the GTS line is the ideal balance, right? In the Porsche Verso, it's about sportiness that you can still use every day. But ultimately, if you get to the heart of the matter, the 911 Turbo S is nothing more than a Carrera GTS with 2T hybrid, right? 2 turbos instead of just one. Yeah, of course, in the Brazilian reality with bad roads, it's really hard to imagine someone having a 911 turbo as their daily, right? Even though it has the lift kit here that's quick. Another thing that's an advantage of the hybrid architecture here with 400 volts. But if you're a Californian artist, if you're a big German industrialist, it's really easy to understand the appeal of this car as a car, which is a 911 with explosive, luxurious performance, right? That really pushes your back into the seat when you accelerate, but it's a bit softer, right? In terms of noise, in terms of ride quality, of smoothness while driving, and even comfort, right? With automatic transmission, with everything else, with the luxury, with the equipment compared to the GT3. So there it is. It's the dream daily driver, maybe not for every Brazilian, right? It's hard to picture someone driving a 911 turbo daily in Brazil, but for any Californian or German, it's easy to imagine. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know in the comments and like this video. Subscribe to this little channel. It's really necessary and helps us a lot. And who knows, maybe save up some coins, right? Who knows? Maybe you'll be the innovative guy who manages to make the 911 Turbo S actually work as a daily in Sao Paulo. Thanks a lot for this and a big hug. And now I'm going to hit the road because that's it. This car was born to split its time between the track and the road. Thanks a lot. All set. Bye-bye.